Sebastian Vettel requests Ferrari leaving him hanging. Let's get started. Sebastian Vettel has expressed frustration about how Ferrari kept him dangling in suspense before deciding they would not extend his contract. The four-time world champion has raced the entire 2020 season knowing it would be his last season with the Scuderia, who announced in May that the two parties were going their separate ways at the end of the campaign. Carlos Sainz was quickly announced as Vettel's replacement at Ferrari, while 4 months would elapse before it was confirmed the German was joining Racing Point to be rebranded as Aston Martin in Sergio Perez's seat. Vettel maintains that the news from Ferrari came out of the blue at a time when he thought they were serious about keeping him in the team, and he wishes it had been handled differently when he was eventually contacted by team principal Mattia Binotto. Ultimately, Vettel has suffered a poor season in which the only significant highlight was the third position in difficult conditions at the Turkish Grand Prix. He has also clashed on track with teammate Leclerc, about whom he delivered an outburst on the team radio during the Bahrain Grand Prix, but denied there is any lingering bad blood between the pair. Esteban Ocon admits his first Renault season has been difficult, but his breakthrough Formula 1 podium finish is evidence of the progress made in 2020 against a tough yardstick in Daniel Ricciardo. The big question is the extent of the headway the 24-year-old has made and whether it leaves him in a strong enough position to handle new teammate Fernando Alonso in the rebranded Alpine team in 2021. Ocon's second place, which came in his 66th start, is a high point of a season during which he has struggled to match Ricciardo. He's only beaten his teammate in qualifying once, with a superb performance in the wet Styria, and this was one of only 3 races where Ocon has finished ahead in the race where both Renaults have made the checkered flag. Ocon's drive was an accomplished one, but it was assisted by his failure to reach Q3 thanks to losing around a second through the chicane on his final qualifying lap. That put him 11th on the grid with free tire choice, allowing him to run long on mediums and jump 2 stoppers Ricciardo, Daniel Kvyat, Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly. He was able to use the undercut, assisted by a slightly faster in-lap, to be in a position to pass Lance Stroll when the Racing Point driver pitted a lap later using the DRS on the run to turn 4. He was subsequently passed by Sergio Perez, who was on tires 6 laps younger but kept Stroll covered and finished second with the assistance of the Mercedes tire troubles. It was a very well executed race drive, although the reason he finished ahead of Ricciardo was mainly strategic. But considering Ocon has suffered from a disproportionate number of failures this year compared to his teammate, with 4 race retirements compared to Ricciardo's 1, he owed a little fortune. Ferrari's hopes of giving Carlos Sainz an early Formula 1 run at the Abu Dhabi Young Driver Test have been dashed after the FIA turned down his request. The one-day run that takes place on the Tuesday after the Abu Dhabi season finale had originally been intended for young drivers only. The rules surrounding the test stated that it would only be open to drivers who had competed in no more than 2 Grand Prix unless otherwise approved by the FIA. That potential for exemption was used by Renault to successfully lobby motor racing's governing body for it to be allowed to run Fernando Alonso, who is returning to Formula 1 after 2 seasons away. The FIA accepted that Alonso should be given special approval because of his long absence. A clarification was made that drivers who had not raced in 2020 would be allowed to join the test even if they had competed in more than 2 Grand Prix in their career. The stance opened the door for Alonso to join the test, with Red Bull also set to run former Grand Prix driver Sebastian Buemi as well. With that exemption being granted and a number of rival teams unhappy about the situation, there was a fresh push by other teams who will have new drivers next year to also be allowed to run them. Ferrari in particular was especially unhappy about Alonso getting a run at what should be a young driver's test, so he requested permission for Sainz to be allowed to join. Team principal Mattia Binotto said at the Sakir Grand Prix that he had approached the FIA to request that drivers who are changing teams, like Sainz, should be allowed to run too, but this was unfortunately turned down by the FIA. Anyways, now it's time for meme of the day, and here it is. And that's been it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Apart from that, I hope you're an awesome day, and bye bye.